cut in. We'll also have some news as well. But sort of the big thing is the weather, as we are seeing freezing temperatures and icy roads outside.
Yeah, there was freezing rain yesterday. That rain all throughout the day for our Friday. And of course, that froze as we continued to see those temperatures dropping last night. As we are looking at live radar this morning, we are still hanging on to some wintry precipitation across the region, mostly across portions of southeast New Mexico, the northern Permian Basin, and the eastern Permian Basin as well. We are still continuing to see some areas of freezing rain and sleet, along with some snow across portions of the region. But as you can see, for the most part, we are in a little bit of a lull, even though some areas are dealing with some wintry weather this morning. Director, if you could pull me up on camera. This morning on the wall, at least. That's okay. Like I mentioned, we are still seeing some precipitation this morning across portions of the region. I do want to start, we do have a winter storm warning as well in effect through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time coming up for our Sunday. So we should see that precipitation ending coming up by tomorrow afternoon. And this is in effect for a very good portion of our region for generally 1 to 3 inches of snow and up to 6 inches of snow in the Guadalupe Mountains, and generally 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. Expect those slick roads, power outages, and possible tree damage as well. Like I mentioned, we are seeing slick roads across portions of the region this morning. We do also have an extreme cold warning, and this does continue until 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time on Monday for a good portion of the region as well, for wind chill values anywhere between 0 degrees and 4 degrees below zero. So this does continue, like I mentioned, until Monday, and that is when we could be seeing those issues with schools and businesses going back to work as we do head into the work week. A cold weather advisory also in effect through that same time period for those areas highlighted in that lighter blue color. For wind chill values a little bit warmer, anywhere between 0 degrees and 3 degrees above zero, but still rather chilly. Here's a live look outside over the skies of Pecos this morning and I-20 there, as we do have a little bit of a curve in the road. The roads were pre-treated, especially on those highways, but still, want to take your time on the roads this morning, especially on any neighborhood roads leaving your house, heading to whatever your destination is. Hopefully you stay home and are able to stay home this weekend as we are seeing these icy roads, but just in case you do have to get out, please give yourself extra time to get to your destination safely. Here's a look at those temperatures. Like I mentioned, we are seeing a little bit of a lull in precipitation across a good portion of the region. 10 degrees currently in Lamesa, 51 in Presidio, so a nice spread in those temperatures, but very cold for most this morning. 14 in Midland, 15 here in Odessa. Those winds anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour, and that is seeing wind chill values anywhere from -2 in Big Spring and Lamesa, sitting at 0 in Midland at Midland International Air and Spaceport, to those 50s across areas near the border. Of course, very, very chilly this morning. Like I mentioned, we do have that lull in precipitation, but as we head through today, expect some more precipitation to pick up across the region. Of course, this is just one model and one run of that model, so this is a snapshot of what we could be seeing. Don't expect radar to look exactly like this coming up later today, but this is what we could be seeing across the region. So that wintry mix, once again, starting by about noon, continuing through this evening and into tonight, and that is where that transitions over into snow by about 10, 11 at midnight as we head into our Sunday, and looking to see a decent amount of snowfall across portions of the region heading into our Sunday. Things should clear out coming up by about noon tomorrow, though, and of course that is when that winter storm warning ends. Here's a look at our forecast ice accumulation. We've already seen ice accumulation already across the region, but still looking at a decent amount of accumulation as we head throughout the next about 12 to 18 hours or so, and then snowfall as we do head into Sunday. This model is showing, of course, this is just one single model run of one model, but this is showing about 2 inches of snow for the Midland Odessa area. Here's a look at those ice accumulation impacts once again, where we are seeing about, minor impacts with about 1/10 of an inch, disruptive impacts with 1/4 of an inch, and crippling impacts with about 1/2 inch. I've been talking about, our different precipitation types, and here's kind of a look at what we see with those different winter precipitation types, rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow as well. But very, very cold as we do start off our day. I'm going to go back to those temperatures really quick before we get to our crews out in the field this morning. Here's a look at our current temperatures across the region. Like I mentioned, ranging from the teens to the 50s, 10 degrees in Lamesa, 14 in Midland, 15 here in Odessa. Winds are light overall, anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So really not light, but not terrible this morning. but those wind chill values anywhere from the negatives, -2 in Big Spring and Lamesa this morning, 0 currently in Midland, 0 at Midland International Air and Spaceport as well. So very, very cold this morning. So even though we are not seeing precipitation actively falling across portions of the region, still very cold as we do start off our day.
All right, Sawyer, that sounds good. I was going to ask if we could go look at more iCams.
Yeah, I can totally head back over there and we
We're
can
seeing
take
the
a look
Pecos one right here
at
behind your
those
map.
iCams.
But I figured we'll go click through and at least see what it looks like across the area.
Do I need to do that, or will our director do that?
I think you're
Okay,
going to need to do
I
it,
will do
yes.
that. Okay, just
Okay,
wanting to check.
so I'm
everybody.
sending Sawyer back to the Weather Center.
All right, let's go back to that live look graphic. All right. So the bad news is with a lot of our iCams, they are frozen over thanks to that lovely freezing rain that we saw yesterday. However, here is a live look outside over the skies of Odessa. Hey, it's a little bit brighter out there, so
Oh, yeah, the sun's coming up.
starting to come up, I guess. As you can see, though, accumulating snow that we haven't really seen this morning, when we've been looking at the iCam. So, maybe it's snowing, I'm
Okay,
assuming.
yeah, that is an interesting view to get this kind of aerial look at that. You can now see what's on people's roofs.
Mm-hmm.
You can see what's on the roads, the streets there as well, sidewalks. Definitely got some actual snow on the ground. And of course, this is all icy as well from what we experienced walking around earlier.
Yeah, there is ice on the road. Of course, it rained throughout the majority of yesterday across the Midland Odessa area, across a good portion of the Permian Basin. The airport picked up about 3/10 of an inch of rain. And, our drainage is not great out here anyway, so that rain, even if it just stays rain, doesn't have anywhere to go really, for at least a couple of hours. So all of that rain, those puddles, that, water on the roads froze overnight. And then we also saw areas of freezing rain as well, and snow, as you can see from our iCam.
Again, this is looking down at Grandview Avenue near the intersection with 42nd Street. So this is basically next to the Chipotle is where the building, we're on the top of that bank building there next to the Chipotle is where this camera is, looking down on Grandview. So there's a good view. So where else can you show us this morning?
Well, I was going to try and zoom in on the road.
Okay.
I might make people dizzy, so I apologize in advance
Hope
because
she's
this
gonna
is
try
kind
this
of
live.
harsh with the zoom, but
Well, I guess you could turn it the other way too and look at like the Chick-fil-A side and 42nd Street
All right.
side as well.
hello, white Jeep. Hello, white car. Okay,
Okay.
well, I think the camera is frozen for the tilt and pan.
Okay, we can't actually spin the camera because it's frozen.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I'm trying
well,
to
that's
tilt
fine.
it down, and it's not
We do have the
going anywhere.
zoom, so you
But
get a
as you can
little closer
see,
look at the
there
ice.
is snow and ice on Grandview there, and expect that across, especially those roads that may not have been treated with that brine, by TxDOT the past couple of days. I know they hit the major highways, 338, 191, I-20, of course. So, we'll zoom back out, and I'll see if we can move the iCam. Yeah, no, it's frozen. It's not. It's
That's
not going
okay.
anywhere.
You tried.
It's not going anywhere. Then we'll go to Midland where, well, you can't see much. It's frozen over because of that freezing rain that we saw yesterday.
Oh, no.
There's a little bit of a hue on there now, so maybe we'll start to see it melting, but
So
probably
this is on top of the Petroleum Museum.
Yes, this is on top of the Petroleum Museum, usually looking towards I-20. We like to utilize this a lot during Wake Up West Texas. And then this is Andrews, and actually our camera there has gotten, I would say, worse since we last looked at it, because you could see that memorial out there a little bit better. This may be because of fog out across the region. I'm actually going to pop to our visibility graphic and see what our current visibility is across the region. So down to about 1.75 miles in Midland, 7 here in Odessa, 1/4 mile in Alpine, 1 mile in Van Horn. So we are also dealing with some areas of fog, on top of that potential precipitation that's falling, and, just dealing with icy conditions as well. So be very, very careful on the roads this morning, or really throughout today as you head to any destination that you have, whether that's work or, whatever you have to do to start off your Saturday. Here's a live look back out at Pecos. As we can see, a little bit of fog there. I don't think our iCam does have any ice on it, but I think that's mostly just the fog out there. I-20 was treated with that brine solution, so hopefully a little bit better conditions than, of course, those side roads, those residential roads this morning. But not a ton of traffic, even on the interstate, so that's good this morning. And, of course, hopefully these people are taking it,
I'm trying to look there on those lanes if that's kind of glare coming off the road or if that could even be glare coming off of ice.
I think there's a little bit of ice on the road as well. It does look like there's a little bit of an icy sheen there, but also with that fog, it may just be a glare with the lights
Right.
reflecting. We do have our Fort Stockton camera, and that is also frozen over with precipitation. So, you know, that was
Yeah,
a
not
big,
much to see there either.
you know, that was a big, I guess, thought in our minds, at least here, you know, with our weather team here at First Alert 7, was how far is this freezing precipitation going to get? Because, you know, a lot of our areas below freezing, very, very cold. But, you know, was this going to extend to the border? Was this going to extend only to the I-10, you know, area, of course, you know, Fort Stockton on I-10. But, you know, that was a big thought in our mind, or a question in our mind. Let's go to Presidio, where it actually looks nice. And
It's
it was
warmer
sitting,
down there, right? I mean, you
say
said
it was
like
sitting
in the 50s.
So our iCam is not frozen there, obviously, but still rather gloomy start to the day looking into Ojinaga this morning. But, you know, at least it's a little bit warmer there.
I mean, yes, good for the people down there in Presidio. Yeah, they're not dealing with these winter conditions really at all. Temperatures in the 50s down there at the
they
border.
are looking to see that front rolling through still. And, you know, I mean, 50s much cooler than they were just a couple of days ago, where their high was 70 degrees, but they could be seeing some, you know, precipitation as well. I know this is not in our area, but I do want to take us to Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh,
This morning, you know, it's close enough. And
For
they
sure.
have a decent amount of snow there on the ground. And that is kind of what we're looking at to see coming up later today, tonight, and into our Sunday, especially across those northern zones of our area into southeast New Mexico. So Hobbs, Jal, you know, the Carlsbad area. But let's go back to our area this morning as we do start off our day, where we are still seeing some snow accumulation on the ground here in Odessa, looking at Grandview Avenue this morning.
okay. Well, thank you, sir, for taking us on that tour of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. We can go now let's go to the Encore outage map, because I know people are always worried about, am I going to lose power? Have people already lost power? Here's a look live at that Encore outage map showing our area. It's honestly looking like fewer outages than even we saw in the last hour and a half or so. You can see one out there in West Odessa, just one kind of green dot. That one's about 56 customers affected, according to Encore. They're investigating what's causing that, so they may not be able to get it fixed until about 11:30. In Midland, there's a big dot there. Let's zoom in on that and see. So kind of in central Midland there, so like downtown and just south of like Interstate 20 down Rankin Highway. Those are just a few dozen people in both of those spots. About 83 people there off of near Fairgrounds Road, about 83 customers without power. Encore says they're investigating that. The biggest outage looks to be there on the south side of Midland, so just south of, what would that be, so yeah, south of Interstate 20, south of Garden City Highway, to the east of Rankin Highway. That green dot is about 251 people affected.
Okay.
Encore says that is because of adverse weather. They estimate that'll be restored around 10:30 a.m. That's kind of the biggest one we've seen. That number was up to over 700 earlier this morning when we checked. So at least they got power back on for some people. They are actively repairing that, trying to get that fixed there for those people. So that's kind of the biggest outage we've seen there, is just on the south side of Midland out there in the county. It's not necessarily Greenwood. I don't know what you call that area exactly. And there are, like I said, a few dozen more there southeast of Midland. You see those dots there off of Garden City Highway.
Those are about less than 100. So
Right,
80,
70 or 80 or
86,
so
70,
people, yes.
Yeah.
And out in Big Spring, so the far right there of your screen, you can see a green dot. That's 108 customers affected there in Big Spring. They say the cause of that was vegetation. So maybe people that didn't trim their trees, or trees now that have fallen because of the wind or ice. But they say they're repairing that, maybe 10 a.m. restoration for those people out there in Big Spring. About 100 customers or so. Well, so let's go now to some of our live team coverage. Our teams across the area right now, out in Odessa and in Big Spring. We also have a crew in Andrews, although they were having some technical difficulties, so we're working on trying to get them up first. Let's start with, we said we're going to go to Odessa or Big Spring first? Just to pick? Okay, we'll go to Odessa first. So we'll start here in Odessa with live coverage from First Alert 7's Lauren Munt, who is live outside of the Music City Mall, where our studios are. Lauren, how are things right now? Okay, we didn't hear Lauren, so maybe there's some microphone issues or something there with Lauren. We'll try to get back to her in just a moment. Like we said, we have a crew in Big Spring as well, our sports team actually. Yep. Jensen Young and Wyatt Nunn spent the night in Big Spring in place, so we're not driving on the interstate through the wintry conditions.
Yes.
Wyatt joins us live there in Big Spring. Wyatt, what are you seeing as far as conditions right there now in Big Spring?
Wake up. The sun is just now rising here east of Odessa, and it's been a pretty calm morning, all things considered. A few flurries. The parking lot is a little slick, but the conditions do not seem to be as rough as they were at the end of the night yesterday. Jensen and I were out here during the 10, and we had freezing rain. It had definitely accumulated into some rougher conditions. It's a little clear right now, but as we have seen throughout the weather reports yesterday and today, that second wave is coming. That could change things. Now, a big thing that we're seeing right now is windshields that have froze over. The truck that's actually behind me right here, we saw leave during our 6 o'clock hit, and when the driver came back, he put a cover over that windshield just to make sure it doesn't freeze over again. Now, we also have over 100 power outages here in Big Spring. The hotel that we are at has not been affected, and we actually spoke with Assistant General Manager Amy Gutierrez this morning, and she said that in events like this, it's pretty common for people who lose power and cannot get it back to their houses to check into the hotel. They've been stocking up on drinks, food, as well as have a generator ready in case that they were to lose power, but are expecting anywhere from 5 to 30 walk-ins today with these conditions continuing to, like I said, good right now, but could get worse as we continue through the day. Now, we'll keep you updated throughout the day, but for now, reporting live in Big Spring, Wyatt Nunn, First Alert 7 News.
All right, Wyatt, thank you. So there was a lot of snow there on the ground in Big Spring.
Yeah, we were seeing a decent amount of snow last night there, even when we were seeing freezing rain and rain here still across the Midland Odessa area. And even this morning, they've been picking up some more snowfall as well. Since the sun's kind of risen here in Odessa, a little bit more snowfall than I thought we had, especially since we came in so early. So still looking at some precipitation across the region as we do start off our Saturday.
Okay, well, let's try to go to our team coverage here in Odessa again. Lauren Munt is still outside of Music City Mall and outside the First Alert 7 studios. Lauren, you can hear us. Can we hear you now?
I hope so. Can you hear me? Let's check in. Can you hear me? I hope so. I'm going to go with it. We're going to keep talking. Okay, good. Yeah, those technical difficulties really frustrating a lot of times, even more frustrating when you're standing outside in really frigid temperatures and you have to wait longer to go inside because you're dealing with mic issues. But we are back. Sawyer, you mentioned there's a lot more snow than we expected. We came in really when it was very dark, like you said, and we didn't see as much snow. When we walked out just now and it was light, we could see more snow on the ground. It's a ton more white. So if you we get a look around, you can see all the snow on the ground. Tons of snow out here in Odessa in the Music City Mall parking lot. A lot more than we expected, and it's still coming down. I am getting kind of pelted in the face by it, and it's making my face very cold. But we're gonna do a little bit of an experiment here. We'll see if we can back the camera up just a little bit. And you guys can see, a lot of times we talk about West Texas is so hot that you can fry an egg on the sidewalk. So we're gonna see if we can freeze an egg on the sidewalk because it is so cold. I think I need to set the mic down just so I can crack it here. Let's see. Oh, you can already see the snow kind of in the pan. Let's see. We'll crack that egg there. And then we'll do a check-in, I guess. Oh, you can actually kind of see it already starting to crystallize. We'll get a check-in of that egg, I guess, a little bit later on in our broadcast and see how long it takes to freeze, although we are, already seeing crystals there. And we'll keep checking in, seeing how long it takes to freeze an egg on the sidewalk and how long it takes for Lauren to freeze on the sidewalk, because I think that's coming soon as well. So for now, I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio so I can get warm.
All right, Lauren, thank you very much for your report there from the parking lot. And as she pointed out, I mean, that's a lot of snow. It was not like that when we got here this morning.
No, it was not like that, right around 5 a.m. when we got in this morning. So even though radar may not necessarily be showing snow, I was just telling you this off air, but, even though radar may not be showing snow because it's so light, it sometimes has a hard time picking up those particles because it's so light, or, if the radar it's the whole thing.
When it's so cold, like any amount of moisture is going to freeze and fall.
Yeah, we had that last year where it was, icy and flurrying, even though radar wasn't showing absolutely anything, just because it was so cold and that moisture was just freezing, already in the air.
For sure. All right. Well, the winter weather is affecting not only your travel, again, stay off the roads, we're telling everyone that, but it also people who rely on Easy Rider. So public transportation, buses, according to Julie Patino, the director of operations for Easy Rider, they are closed today. No operations because of the weather, out of concerns for safety of the drivers and anyone that would be using the buses. Easy Rider is closed all day today and tomorrow. We'll be checking back with them on Monday to see if they are back up and operating. And Ector County emergency management, I should say, urging residents to stay off the roads, stay home, stay where it is warm. There are, of course, icy conditions, power outages expected. In response, they've opened up a warming shelter at the Ector County Coliseum in Barn A. That shelter does have food, places to charge your devices, and overnight accommodation. So people were able to stay there overnight yesterday if they opened up around 6 p.m. You can find more information on that and all warming shelters on our website, firstalert7.com. We'll show them to you here on TV as well. The City of Odessa is opening up warming centers. You can go to Salvation Army of Odessa, which is at 810 East 11th Street, or Jesus House, which is at 1335 East 6th Street.
And over in Midland, the city is sharing the location of several warming centers and shelters. Locations include Breaking Bread Kitchen, MLK Community Center, Salvation Army, Midland Soup Kitchen. You can obviously see them there on your screen. As you can see, the Salvation Army will be open 24/7 coming up through Wednesday. Breaking Bread has told us that they've teamed up with True Light Church for a 24-hour shelter starting through, now through, of course, Monday. So all of this information can also be found on firstalert7.com.
Out in Big Spring, you can go to Salvation Army, that's on 5th Street, the Big Spring YMCA on Owens, or Las Cazuelas on 2606 South Gregg Street. So warming shelters there in Big Spring as well. And we did get some notifications from city officials there in Big Spring about closures to some of their facilities. The Big Sandy landfill is closed today due to the freezing temperatures and wet conditions. It's made kind of a muddy mess out there, in addition to just the ice. The landfill will be closed until conditions improve, which sort of that could be, until like Tuesday even. Yeah,
we're still going to see those below freezing temperatures, especially in the morning on Monday. And even though temperatures will warm up slightly throughout the day on Monday, still looking to be in the mid-30s, I believe. And then by Tuesday morning, still back to below freezing. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on still as we head throughout the next couple of days, even if that precipitation is done. Still going to be very, very cold, and with this ice and snow on the road, may not melt for a couple of days.
All right, the Comanche Trail Golf Course will be closed on Sunday, today and Sunday, and they'll stay closed again until Monday. They're doing regularly scheduled maintenance, they say, so I guess they already planned on having the golf course closed, so not a huge change here with the weather. Let's go back to Odessa and Ector County, where Sheriff Mike Griffiths and County Judge Dustin Fawcett gave a public service announcement as part of the preparation for this winter storm. Have a listen to what they said.
If anybody needs to get warm, their power goes out or whatever, please call us, 335-3535, 432-335-3535. We will come pick you up and we will take you to a place warm. We would rather help you that way than later. We want you to stay off the roadways. The roads are going to be horrible. Unless there is absolutely an emergency, do not get out of your house. We're going to have plenty to do without having to deal with wrecks and all that kind of stuff. So please stay home, stay warm, and if you need us, please call us.
So again, you can call them 335-3535, and they will take you to that warming shelter at the Ector County Coliseum, Barn A.
Odessa College is closed this weekend due to winter weather. The Sports Center and Learning Resources Center are also shut down Today and tomorrow, Odessa College and all extension centers in Andrews, Monahans, and Pecos will be closed. All classes, evening events, and weekend events are canceled. The downtown green space will also remain closed. However, Great Western Dining will deliver meals to campus residents, and online tutoring will still be available as well.
Okay, great that the kids can still get food that way.
Yes.
A reminder that Tom's Coats is underway. As we talk about all this freezing weather, you can help us keep West Texans warm by dropping off new or gently used coats at these locations. I mean, today is not the day to do this.
No.
But in the future, drop-off locations there at Frost Bank in Midland, Odessa. You can also take coats to Odessa College, the Llewellyn Garcia Pipkin Funeral Home in Midland, or here at the First Alert 7 Studios. These donations will run through January 31st, the end of the month. So again, don't do it this weekend, but donate those coats. They'll all go to the Salvation Army to help those in need. Again, we are urging you to stay off the roads this morning. Things have, at least now the lights come out, or the sun's come out, so you can kind of see. It's lighter, and you can see conditions a little better, but very snowy, more than we probably expected at this time in Odessa, and that's covering up ice that's hidden underneath that.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of the good and bad thing about snow. Snow you get a little bit more traction on, but of course it is hiding that ice, so it may just look snowy, but expect ice to be under that as well.
And underpasses, overpasses are always the most dangerous place, officials say. Can get much icier quicker than regular roadways. First Alert 7's Jay Hendricks sat down with Odessa Police Officer Steve LeSueur to talk about a lot of the ways that you can keep yourself safe this weekend.
All right, I'm joined now by Corporal Steve LeSueur, Odessa Police Department. Of course, freezing temperatures already here. That's the big problem. I know y'all are always called out for wrecks, whether it's just rainy or whatever, but it's the ice that's the big problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mentioned, icy roads is really the most dangerous thing. Pretty much, you just have to reduce your speed. You know, keep your distance between your vehicle and the vehicle that's in front of you. As far as my experience in being here at OPD, it seems like the most dangerous areas are the I-20,
Sure.
Highway 191, places like that where you have the overpasses and the bridges. You just have to be so careful.
You mentioned also out in West Odessa, there's a lot of that too.
Yeah, Southwest, where they have extra, they seem to have more bridges. It just seems to be more, ice forms right there, and it just catches people off guard. And really, the best thing is just, really try to avoid, traveling on the I-20 or 191 if possible.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot of water too, and we've gotten some puddles out there. That's a big concern too.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely, because it can go from having no crashes on the I-20 for 1 second. Next thing you know, we have 3 crashes, all back to back, and at some point, sometimes it's just more effective to just stay off of it. It's just better to just take the service road or take an alternative route.
Okay, sometimes you also get calls about people who need help, need assistance, so they can't stay warm or they're out in the elements. You guys, I know the county has a plan. Do y'all have a plan also?
Yeah, so we partner with the Salvation Army. If it's a check welfare call, we respond to those quite a bit, especially in this type of weather. If you do see someone that is out, in the cold weather and you are concerned about them, please give us a call. You have nothing to lose. Call that non-emergency line, the 432-333-3641. Of course, if you think that they're deceased or and it's emergency, then call 911. But call it in as a check welfare, and we will respond and we will take over from there.
Do you put extra officers out when it's like this?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It just depends. We kind of monitor it. So really, we're anticipating it to get I think bad, tomorrow night, especially into Sunday and of course Monday as well.
Okay. And I know that, again, the big concern with those areas where there is water already, that's going to be the concern, especially now that temperatures have dropped.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mentioned, the flooding. The flooding is also something you have to watch out for. So just try to avoid going. If you see, if you see possible flooding, just turn around. It's not worth it.
Would you rather them call 911 or the main number at the depending on what it is? But let's check welfare. Would you want them to call 911?
No, for the check welfare, you can just call the non-emergency line, unless it is a life or death situation.
Obviously, if you see something happening, a crash or something, you want to call that 911.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're concerned about their status, if you don't really know, definitely call that 911. But really, the bottom line is that you just have to slow down and just plan ahead. And one of the most important things is keep that distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you, because we see it time and time again. I think one year we had several dozen crashes. I don't know if it was 80 or 90 or whatever it was, but it was a ridiculous amount within a very short period of time. So
all right,
we've seen it happen.
Please be careful if you're out there driving around. Steve, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate Jay doing that interview with Steve. Jay will be coming in later today.
Yeah, Jay and Isabella Garriga will be in for our evening coverage here on First Alert 7 because, we want to keep you updated as we head through today. And we are looking to see more precipitation later today in the form of some freezing rain, some sleet, and some snow as well as we do head into our Sunday. So I do want to start by looking at radar once again this morning. We do still have some precipitation ongoing across portions of the region. We are seeing some snow, especially across northern portions of the Permian Basin. Still seeing some mix as well for those areas that are seeing that purple color on radar, but also seeing some good old rain. You see that near Alpine? Some rain this morning because of how warm those temperatures are, like I mentioned, or I'll show just in a minute from now. We're seeing temperatures in the 50s near the border this morning. We do have that winter storm warning in effect coming up through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time on Sunday for those areas highlighted in purple for 1 to 3 inches of snow for most regions, but up to 6 inches in the Guadalupe Mountains. Generally, 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch of ice for those areas in purple. So expect slick roads, power outages, and tree damage as well. We also do have that extreme cold warning. So even though we are seeing precipitation done across the region for now, it is still very, very cold. So this is in effect coming up through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time for these areas in blue. And this is on Monday. So even though that precipitation should be done coming up by noon tomorrow, still very, very cold temperatures as we head into our Monday with wind chill values anywhere between 0 degrees and 4 degrees below zero for most. We could, of course, see some locally colder amounts than that. Cold weather advisory also in effect coming up through noon on Monday for those areas in that lighter blue. A little bit warmer there, but still rather cold with wind chill values between 0 and 3 degrees above zero. Temperatures right now are ranging from those teens to the 50s. 12 degrees currently in Big Spring, 14 in Midland, 15 here in Odessa. Those winds anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour with wind chill values ranging from the negatives in eastern portions of the Permian Basin to the 50s. Feels like 50 in Presidio, feels like -3 in Big Spring and Lamesa this morning. And we are seeing a whopping 0 degree wind chill in Midland, at Midland International Air and Spaceport, in Andrews as well. Of course, our sensor for our wind chill value is out here in Odessa, but expect near 0 degrees for that wind chill value.
It's a lot snowier in Odessa than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, when we walked in at about 5 a.m. this morning, there was not that much snow
Didn't
on the
look like
ground.
that.
So still continuing to see some snow this morning, like I mentioned, especially across eastern portions of the Permian Basin.
All right, well, thank you, Sawyer. We will have coverage throughout the day. We're actually going to be live streaming from the next hour or so until 9 a.m. over on our app, on our website, and on Facebook. So if you can't watch here on TV, because we are going to take you back to your regular programming, watch us there live online on all those different platforms. You can watch us again live on your TV, on your smart TV. If you go to the First Alert 7 app on your smart TV, your regular First Alert 7 app on your phone, Facebook, or our website, our live stream there. You can go watch us all. We'll have live coverage for the next hour nonstop. So join us there, and we will have updates here on TV as well every 30 minutes all throughout the day today, whether it's me and Sawyer or as our evening crew comes in, Matthew Alvarez, Jay and Isabella as well, Tom P. Fertiller. We will have coverage throughout the day here on TV and live streams going there on all those platforms I just told you about. So we'll see you over there. Here's back to your regular programming on CBS.
Now an update from the First Alert 7 Weather Center.
All right, thank you for joining us here on FirstAlert7.com and our streaming platforms, Facebook, the First Alert 7 News app. We're trying to bring you the latest on this winter storm. We'll have this ongoing live coverage here on these platforms throughout the day. Sawyer, let's start by getting a look at what weather conditions are looking like right now.
Yeah, here's a live look at radar this morning as we do start off our day. Still hanging on to some precipitation across the region this morning. We do have that snow across eastern and northern portions of the Permian Basin, seeing some rain for our southern portions of the region where it is a little bit warmer. And then also, that freezing precipitation wintry mix, south of Big Spring, south of Midland, Odessa area as well. Here's a look at our weather alerts. We do have that winter storm warning that continues through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time Sunday for a good portion of West Texas and southeast New Mexico for generally 1 to 3 inches of snow and up to 6 inches possible in the Guadalupe Mountains and generally 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. So even though we are seeing a little bit of a lull in precipitation, we are not yet done. Another round coming up later today. And as we head into our Sunday, expect slick roads, power outages, and tree damage as well. Extreme cold warning. So even though we are seeing a little bit of a lull in that precipitation, we are going to see that extreme cold warning in effect through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time coming up on Monday for those areas highlighted in that dark blue for wind chill values anywhere between 0 and 4 degrees below zero. And then also a cold weather advisory in effect through that same time period for those areas highlighted in that light blue. A little bit warmer there, but still those wind chill values anywhere between 0 and 3 degrees above zero. Here's a look outside of the skies of Odessa this morning where you can see some snow on the ground and also ice on the roads. I know a lot of people on Facebook are asking about the roads this morning. Just use your best judgment. Stay home if you can, but icy roads across a good portion of the region. Not terrible, but if you do take your time, you should be able to get to where you need to go safely this morning. But you can also see a little bit of snow as well. Very, very cold. Those temperatures ranging from the teens to the 50s. 10 degrees currently in Lamesa, 12 in Big Spring, 14 in Midland, 15 here in Odessa. Those winds anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour with wind chill values anywhere from 3 degrees below zero for Big Spring and Lamesa, currently sitting at a whopping 0 degrees in Midland International Air and Spaceport, Andrews as well. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, our center is out here in Odessa, but I would expect it to be near that 0 degree mark. And then a little bit warmer the further south and southwest that you head, Presidio sitting at a nice 50 degrees right now, but most of our region is below that freezing mark this morning. Like I mentioned, we are in a little bit of a lull, even though we are still hanging on to some areas of precipitation. But as we head through today, this is a look at what we could see across the region. This is one, model and one snapshot of what we could be seeing, but looking to see more precipitation coming up by noon later today. That will continue into this evening and tonight, where that will transition over to all snow by about 11 p.m. as we head into, the overnight hours heading into our Sunday. Still looking at some precipitation as we head through tomorrow. Should see that clearing out by about noon. Of course, that is when that winter storm warning ends. Even if we see a little bit of precipitation, after that, still looking at some snow and then clearing things out as we do head into tomorrow night, and into our Monday, but still going to be very cold. Here's a look at our iCams this morning. We're going to do a little bit of a, trip around the area on our iCams this morning. A lot of them aren't really usable or, easy to see anything because they are frozen over. So that's Midland. Can't really see anything thanks to that freezing rain. Here's Andrews. Can't see much of anything there either. Big Spring this morning, also can't see anything there. The good news is we do have teams out in Big Spring this morning and Andrews, so hopefully we'll get you over to them. And then here's Pecos and I-20 there. A little bit foggy as well. Fort Stockton is frozen over. And then here's a live look at Presidio, where it actually doesn't look too bad this morning. They are hanging on to a great deal of cloud cover, a little bit of wind as well, and like I mentioned, about 50 degrees there. I do want to show also our visibilities across the region really quick because we are hanging on to some areas of fog and, of course, reduced visibility due to that precipitation this morning. And going back to radar one more time before we do head out to our teams in the field, like I mentioned, still hanging on to some snow, some wintry mix, some precipitation across portions of the region as we do start off our day, and that does look to continue throughout our Saturday and into our Sunday as well.
All right, so thank you for all your forecasting and keeping track of these storms. We'll see how things continue to develop throughout the day. Let's continue our team coverage with our crews, like we said, live out in Odessa, Big Spring, and Andrews. We'll start out in Odessa, where First Alert 7's Lauren Munt has been outside the First Alert 7 studios all morning. Lauren, the sun has come up. How are things outside right now?
Jacob, I'm feeling a little jealous of your job inside the studio right about now. It is frigid out here, but we're making the most of it and having a little bit of fun. If you were with us on air this morning at about, I don't even know what time it is anymore. If you were with us on air this morning at I think 8 o'clock, we had a little bit of an experiment that we did. We put an egg in a frying pan to see how long it would take to freeze. I can tell you it is frozen. It is solid. We are frozen. The yolk is still a little crystallized on the outside, might be a little mushy, a little like over easy egg situation here. But I don't recommend eating that because I believe you would get salmonella. But we can confirm that you can fry an egg in West Texas in the summer, and you can certainly freeze an egg in West Texas in the winter. It is frigid out here. You can see, we'll take a look at the roads out here right now. You can see snow on the ground, but also ice on the ground. Tons of ice on the ground this way. Take a look at the First Alert 7 car over there on the other side. Icy car that is covered in ice. If you are planning on going anywhere today, give yourself a little bit of time to scrape your car. I know not a lot of us have ice scrapers. Get your car defrosted, ready to go on the roads, but I also don't recommend going on the roads at all. These are quite icy. I think I've slipped like 5 different times heading out here each time. It is icy. If you're slipping on your feet, you're definitely slipping on your car. I know that we've seen several crashes already this morning. Stay off the roads. If you don't have to be anywhere, stay off the roads, stay inside, hang out with your kids, fry an egg on the sidewalk or freeze an egg on the sidewalk and do some other experience. We're gonna have a lot more activities and a lot more things that you can do inside and outside in these freezing temperatures while also keeping warm coming up all day here on First Alert 7 for our First Alert 7 exclusive weather coverage. Jacob Sawyer, I'm going to sit back to you guys in studio so that I can also get inside the studio.
All right. Thank you, Lauren. She did look cold, Sawyer. How much? It does look a little windy outside. How much wind are we seeing?
I believe our wind was about 15 miles per hour. I wasn't looking at gusts, or I haven't really been looking at gusts this morning, but a little bit breezy out there, and once our air temperatures drop, it doesn't take that much to make it feel much colder with those wind chill values. Like I said, probably sitting around 0 degrees here in Odessa. That's what Midland and Midland International are seeing this morning.
Goodness gracious. So 0 degrees of the wind with wind chill right now this morning. So yeah, very cold out there in our parking lot. Let's head out to get a check of the conditions in Big Spring. Our team out there as well, Jensen Young and Wyatt Nunn together, keeping an eye on conditions in Big Spring. Wyatt, you guys are right there along Interstate 20. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, thanks, Jacob. We are here at the Hampton Inn in Big Spring, and we have seen a little bit of traffic on the interstate this morning, but it certainly seems like people are trying to stay off the road. I mean, the parking lot that we are in has stayed mostly packed from overnight into this morning. We have not seen many people come in this morning. We spoke with hotel assistant general manager Amy Gutierrez. She said that they hadn't seen a walk-in since 11 p.m. last night, meaning a lot of people were ready to get off the road and be settled here. I mean, you've kind of seen it in some of the cars in the parking lot. Windshields are frozen over, as well as they have their wipers up. We have not lost power at the hotel yet, though we do have reports that over 100 people in the south part of Big Spring did lose power overnight and this morning. We've seen a couple road and utility vehicles going down the interstate, meaning that it seems like they're trying to keep it clear for the most part. Though, if you ask me, I'd say try and stay off the road if do not go driving unless completely necessary. You see us walking around in the parking lot right here. It is still quite slippery out. Me being from Nebraska, have a little more experience as this than my cameraman Jensen Young. But we are hanging in here, and we're going to be speaking with businesses later in the day, seeing how the snow is impacting them, if they're trying to stay open. The Starbucks right beside the hotel actually told us yesterday that they had decided they were going to be closed all of today, not even going to risk the weather, while some of the gas stations and restaurants are going to stay open as long as conditions allow. Those updates will be coming later in the day. But for now, reporting live in Big Spring, Wyatt Nunn, First Alert 7 News.
All right, Wyatt, thank you very much. Good look there at conditions in Big Spring.
Yeah, they saw a little bit more snow than the Midland Odessa area. We mostly had that freezing rain yesterday, but a little bit more snow for them for the Eastern Permian Basin. And they're still seeing snow across portions of the Eastern Permian Basin this morning as well.
All right, well, we do want to let you know that not only should you be staying off the roads, if you normally take the bus, Easy Rider, that's not an option today either. Easy Rider let us know that they will be closed today because of those weather conditions out of concern for drivers and customers looking out for their safety. So they're closed all day today. We believe that to apply to tomorrow as well. We're going to check back with them on Monday to see if they're back open and operating on Monday for those people depending on public transport. But today, Easy Rider not an option. Ector County Emergency Management has opened up a warming shelter that is at the Ector County Coliseum in Barn A. They did open around 6 p.m. yesterday, providing food, charging stations, and overnight accommodations. That's the big one, giving people a place to stay overnight. In Odessa, the city of Odessa has opened up some warming shelters as well. That's the Salvation Army of Odessa that's located on East 11th Street, or Jesus House on East 6th Street. Options for you as well. In Midland, the city has shared locations for several of their warming centers and shelters. We keep trying to update this graphic because it does keep changing on us. But that includes Breaking Bread Kitchen. MLK Community Center, that is not on the list anymore. The city did say that one's off. Salvation Army, though, is open 24/7 all the way until Wednesday.
That's good.
Because, again, people need the warm place to stay, and freezing temperatures are going to last till about then.
Yeah, we are going to see temperatures gradually improving through the week, but still very cold coming up Monday, Tuesday, and possibly into Wednesday morning as well. So very nice that the Salvation Army in Midland is open 24/7 because, some of these places close at night when, it's the more vital time to be, inside and those temperatures drop below freezing and, of course, near zero. Okay, we mentioned Breaking Bread Kitchen. They teamed up with True Light Church to also have a 24/7 shelter that is open. They're at True Light Church, so you can go there as well. Downtown Library and Centennial Library available. You can find all this information updated on our website, firstalert7.com as well for those locations for warming shelters all across the area. That includes Big Spring. We'll go out to Big Spring. You just saw Wyatt and Jensen there. So Big Spring's warming shelters include the Salvation Army of Big Spring on West 5th Street, the Big Spring YMCA on Owens, or Las Cazuelas on 2606 South Gregg Street. And we also have some city facility closures out of Big Spring. The Big Sandy landfill will be closed today due to the freezing temperatures and wet conditions that have created muddy and unsafe driving conditions. This will remain closed until conditions improve, so maybe not until Tuesday or Wednesday. Keep an eye on that. The Comanche Trail Golf Course will also be closed today and Sunday. The golf course will remain closed coming up on Monday for regularly scheduled maintenance. Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths and Ector County Judge Dustin Fawcett issued a public service announcement a few days ago in preparation for that winter weather. Here's what they had to say.
If anybody needs to get warm, their power goes out or whatever, please call us, 335-3535, 432-335-3535. We will come pick you up and we will take you to a place warm. We would rather help you that way than later. We want you to stay off the roadways. The roads are going to be horrible. Unless there is absolutely an emergency, do not get out of your house. We're going to have plenty to do without having to deal with wrecks and all that kind of stuff. So please stay home, stay warm, and if you need us, please call us. So if you lose power or need a ride to that warming shelter, they will come pick you up. That number 335-3535. Ector County Coliseum Barn A is where they have that warming shelter. But again, we just showed you a lot of other locations in Odessa as well. Odessa College is closed this weekend because of the winter weather. So the Sports Center and Learning Resource Center are closed. That'll be today and tomorrow. Odessa College and Extension Centers in Andrews, Monahans, and Pecos are all closed. All classes, evening events, and weekend events have been canceled. The downtown green space also closed. Anything to do with Odessa College is not going to be operating. Some things that are open. Great Western Dining will be delivering meals to campus residents, so that's great for those kids maybe stuck in their dorm or apartment. They'll bring them food. That's good. And online tutoring, because it's online, is also still available.
And Tom's Coats is underway here at First Alert 7, and we need your help to keep West Texans warm. You can drop off new or gently used coats at the Frost Bank locations in both Midland and Odessa. You can also take them to Odessa College, the Alan Garcia Pipkin Funeral Home in Midland, or here at First Alert 7. Obviously not this weekend, but once those temperatures warm up, this is now through the 31st of January. All coats will go to the Salvation Army for those in need. Of course, in case we have another freeze like this, to help out our neighbors in need.
Absolutely. Well, we told you in the days before this storm arrived about preparations, things to get ready, and hopefully everyone listened and you're just home safe at a warm place with lots of snacks and stuff to keep yourself busy and safe if there's any power outages or things like that. But that does include the city of Big Spring, where we had a report earlier. First Alert 7's Jensen Young spoke with the local hotel about how they got ready to serve guests arriving during this winter storm.
Hotels like this Hampton and Big Spring do a lot of work ahead of a storm like this. I spoke with the assistant general manager. She told me they stock at least double the food they usually do, and they prepare to receive walk-ins all night long. Staff at hotels also have to be ready to communicate anything that's happening, especially if there's a power outage.
A lot of times they'll give us a direct line to the crew that's working on the situation at hand, and we keep in touch with them and they keep in touch with us and stuff. They're really good about informing us, hey, it's going to be about 30 more minutes. They don't like to give a definite time because things could occur and nobody really knows.
It takes a community coming together to help everyone get through the storm safely. Amy Gutierrez says places like Big Spring are great for community support that you only get in small towns.
I know that we do have a lot of volunteers that the community comes together and they will volunteer if somebody's pipes break or busted, and the churches are really good about sheltering people who need it and stuff if it comes to that.
And as those temperatures continue to drop, people across the area wanted to get ready, and that includes grocery shopping.
Yeah, First Alert 7's Rachel Fortunato joins us from Andrews with how grocery stores have responded to the increase in customers leading up to this winter storm.
It's been so crowded. People coming to buy milk, bread, vegetables, tortillas.
Similar to grocery stores in Odessa, stores here are also struggling to keep eggs, milk, and bread on the shelves. Other popular items include produce and shelf-stable cans and boxed food. A local Super Chihuahua has seen a large increase in recent customers. They have even seen many new faces in the store as other places run out of popular products.
There's a lot of people who come in. They are not usually to come because there lack of products on the stores, so they think they can find it here.
Rodriguez also says people are buying a larger number of products.
On weekends, we always have a lot of people, but this weekend we sell what we sell on today.
Super Chihuahua employees and their customers have expressed their concern for what's to come.
Kind of worry about because of the weather.
A local resident shopping even told us that prices have gone up due to high demand.
And authorities, of course, urging you to stay off the roads. Overpasses and underpasses, particularly dangerous because those can get icy much faster than regular roadways.
First Alert 7's Jay Hendricks sat down with Odessa police officer Steve LeSueur and talked about ways you can stay safe in this winter storm.
All right, I'm joined now by Corporal Steve LeSueur, Odessa Police Department. Of course, freezing temperatures already here. That's the big problem. I know y'all are always called out for wrecks, whether it's just rainy or whatever, but it's the ice that's a big problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mentioned, icy roads is really the most dangerous thing. Pretty much, you just have to reduce your speed. Keep your distance between your vehicle and the vehicle that's in front of you. As far as my experience in being here at OPD, it seems like the most dangerous areas are the I-20,
sure,
Highway 191, places like that where you have the overpasses and the bridges. You just have to be so careful.
You mentioned also out in West Odessa, there's a lot of that too.
Yeah, Southwest, where they have extra, they seem to have more bridges. It just seems to be more, ice forms right there, and it just catches people off guard. And really, the best thing is just, really try to avoid, traveling on the I-20 or 191 if possible.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot of water too, and we've gotten some puddles out there. That's a big concern too.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely, because it can go from having no crashes on the I-20 for 1 second. Next thing you know, we have 3 crashes, all back to back, and at some point, sometimes it's just more effective to just stay off of it. It's just better to just take the service road or take an alternative route.
Okay, sometimes you also get calls about people who need help, need assistance, so they can't stay warm or they're out in the elements. You guys, I know the county has a plan. Do y'all have a plan also?
Yeah, so we partner with the Salvation Army. If it's a Czech welfare call, we respond to those quite a bit, especially in this type of weather. If you do see someone that is out, in the cold weather and you are concerned about them, please give us a call. You have nothing to lose. Call that non-emergency line, the 432-333-3641. Of course, if you think that they're, deceased or, and it's emergency, then call 911. But call it in as a Czech welfare, and we will respond and we will take over from there.
Do you put extra officers out when it's like this?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It just depends. We kind of monitor it. So really, we're anticipating it to get I think bad, tomorrow night, especially into Sunday and of course Monday as well.
Okay. And I know that, again, the big concern with those areas where there is water already, that's going to be the concern, especially now that temperatures have dropped.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mentioned, the flooding. The flooding is also something you have to watch out for. So just try to avoid going. If you see, if you see possible flooding, just turn around. It's not worth it.
Would you rather them call 911 or the main number at the depending on what it is, but if let's check welfare, would you want them to call 911?
No, for the Czech welfare, you can just call the non-emergency line unless it is a life or death situation.
Obviously, if you see something happening, a crash or something, you want to call that 911.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're concerned about their status, if you don't really know, definitely call that 911. But really, the bottom line is that you just have to slow down and just plan ahead. And one of the most important things is keep that distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you, because we see it time and time again. I think one year we had several dozen crashes. I don't know if it was 80 or 90 or whatever it was, but it was a ridiculous amount within a very short period of time. So
all right,
we've seen it happen.
Please be careful if you're out there driving around. Steve, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and of course we're encouraging everybody to stay in this weekend, but not everybody can get outside, or some people can't go inside, I should say. That includes one of our friends down in Fort Stockton.
Yeah.
Paisano Pete.
Well, there we go. No?
Yes.
Okay. The 11-foot tall Roadrunner Paisano Pete has welcomed, this cold in, and an area person knitted a hat for him so he can stay warm this weekend. It is pretty cold across much of the region. The woman who knitted the beanie, Josie, said it took about 3 novellas and a whole lot of love. Not only that, she knitted herself one to match.
Yes, very cute.
So Fort Stockton asks that the community follows Paisano Pete's example and stay warm this weekend and stay inside if you can. Of course,
stay inside if you can.
Of course, he has to be outside.
He has to be outside to welcome visitors to Fort Stockton, something he's been doing since, I believe they said 1980.
Yep.
That the iconic statue's been out there, an 11-foot tall Roadrunner. So have you ever seen anything like that?
No, and I went to Metropolitan State University of Denver. That is where I got my meteorology degree, and the Roadrunner was our mascot, actually. So this is kind of a cool segue. We are also going to be cutting back into television in about 30 seconds. So Jacob and I are going to, pop over to television for a minute. So if you want to join us, or just stay here on Facebook or firstalert7.com. But we are going to give another weather update in just about 20 minutes or so. Roads, when we drove in this morning, Jacob Brandenburg had to pick me up because my car was frozen over. But they were a little bit icy, and we're also seeing snow on those roads as well. But now as we head into the 8:30, half hour, we are going to get back into that weather this morning.
Now an update from the First Alert 7 Weather Center.
We are breaking into your coverage here on CBS to bring you the latest on this winter storm. Meteorologist Sawyer McElroy here with us. Sawyer, what are the latest conditions that you're seeing?
Yeah, taking a live look at radar this morning, we are continuing to see some areas of snow, freezing rain, sleet, and even some actual rain as well this morning for those areas that are a little bit warmer to the south of our region. Here's a look at our weather alerts. We do also have a winter storm warning that does continue until 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time, coming up on Sunday for those areas highlighted in that purple color for generally 1 to 3 inches of snow and up to 6 inches of snow possible in the Guadalupe Mountains, and generally a 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice. We've already seen some freezing rain, some rain yesterday that froze on the roads, but we could see even more as we head through today. So expect slick roads, power outages, and tree damage as well, because dangerous travel is expected. Even if we were completely done with precipitation, which we are not, we are going to see that extreme cold warning as well, and that is in effect through 11 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Central Time coming up on Monday. So even though precipitation should be done coming up by noon tomorrow, we are going to see very cold temperatures continuing into Monday morning, and this is where we could see those issues with those schools being delayed or even closed across the region. Of course, tune into First Alert 7 through the weekend to see as we get those in. Wind chill values between 0 and 4 degrees below 0 are expected, and a cold weather advisory in effect through that same time period for wind chills a little bit warmer between 0 and 3 degrees above freezing. Here's a look at our temperatures this morning, ranging from the teens to the 50s, sitting at 14 in Midland, currently 15 here in Odessa. Those winds anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour, about 15 miles per hour in the Midland, Odessa area. And we are seeing wind chill values anywhere from -3 in Big Spring to, of course, 1 degree in Midland. Hey, we're back to above that 0 mark, so that's good, but still very, very cold this morning as we do start off our Saturday, and still seeing some areas of precipitation as well.
All right, we'll continue this live weather coverage on our app. You can find that on the app, our website, and live on Facebook. Stay with us there. We'll now return you to your regular programming on First Alert 7. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to get them back on the phone and we can start this shebang again.
Now an update from the First Alert 7 Weather Center.
All right, thanks for sticking with us here on Facebook. We're also working to get, I guess we've been told, our live stream on the website and app are struggling a little bit, so Facebook, so you're able to watch this right now live as we have more on the weather. We've swapped out Sawyer for Ethan Yost, our other meteorologist. Ethan, what are you seeing with this winter storm?
Yeah, same exact thing that Sawyer's been talking to you guys about all morning. We have seen a little bit of a downtrend in terms of the actual precipitation falling compared to last night. But we did accumulate some ice overnight, and so we did see, we are seeing, at least I should say, some ice on the roads causing some slick travel. So we do recommend that you do not travel this morning. If you absolutely must, take it slow, because again, there are slick spots. We also did see a dusting of snow, so it's kind of making things just a little bit worse. But overall, again, light precipitation happening right now, mix of snow, maybe some sleet and freezing rain in there. You can see that on radar in the blue and the purple. But again, we are expecting another round coming up later. That's why we still have this winter storm warning in effect for all areas in pink on your screen. For again, we're still looking at additional accumulations of ice, potentially up to 1/4 of an inch to up to 1/2 an inch through the weekend, and also additional accumulations of snow, particularly late Saturday night into early Sunday, generally 1 to 3 inches of snow. So we're going to continue to see dangerous travel impacts really through the entire weekend here. And we also do have those extreme cold warnings, of course, still in effect, all in blue here, with nighttime lows dipping into the single digits, and even some wind chills down into the negative territory. So make sure you're protecting people, especially the elderly, throughout the weekend, bringing those pets indoors, bringing vulnerable plants indoors, letting those pipes drip as well, as we don't want any of those problems as well. Cold weather advisory is also in effect for southwestern portions of our viewing area to cover the threat of also very cold temperatures. Not quite as cold, but still wind chills down near 0 degrees throughout the weekend. And here's a current look at a live iCam over, I want to say that's Presidio, and it looks like there's a little bit of low visibility right now. I don't believe there's any precipitation actually falling, maybe actually just a little bit of fog going on over there right now. So there's a little bit of low visibility, but temperatures, look at those. We are down to the teens across all areas of the Permian Basin, 20s for the Trans-Pecos, and up to 50 in Presidio, so nearly a 40-degree temperature difference from northeast to southwest. As those wind chills, or again, those winds are also kind of not as strong, but you add the wind to that exposed skin and those wind chills are going to be even colder. We're down to the negatives across the Permian Basin, now at -1 in Midland, -2 in La Mesa, 8 degrees for Monahans, and up to 43 in Presidio. But yet again, like we just talked about, we're in a lull right now with precipitation, but we are expecting yet another round going into the early afternoon and into the evening. Here's 12 o'clock this afternoon, right around noon. You can see all that purple showing up once again across most areas. That's a sign of mixed precipitation, and again, in the form of freezing rain and sleet. So we'll have additional accumulations throughout the day, and eventually we'll see us switch over to snow late Saturday night as we see even colder temperatures filter in. You can see that here about 12 o'clock overnight tonight, and that'll last into early Sunday morning. More spotty in nature overall, but again, we will see additional accumulations of around 1 to 3 inches across most locations before things clear out by the early afternoon. Here's a live iCam over Presidio this morning. And again, we can see just a little bit of fog out there, low visibility, but overall not too bad over there. As we switch over to Odessa, though, you can see that we actually do have some icing on the ground that is visible. Right now, not precipitating, but ice is on the ground. So if you have to travel, make sure you take it slow. We do recommend against that, though. Moving over to the Midland iCam, though, it's basically frozen over, so you cannot see anything right now. And the same can be the same can be said for Andrews, Big Spring, over towards Fort Stockton. All the live iCams are kind of frozen over, so it's not really giving us much of a view right now. But the Odessa iCam definitely gives us a good picture of the icing that we're seeing across most locations this morning.
And I mean, some decent snow in Big Spring and Odessa as well. I know we're thinking more snow coming like later today. But we are seeing some already from this morning.
Yes, exactly. Just a little bit of a dusting, and usually that little bit of dusting layered on top of the ice can make things that just much worse, especially for driving. So even though it doesn't look like a lot, it definitely is impactful. If you have walked around, if you've tried to drive, you've probably noticed this morning.
Okay, let's go to our Encore outage map, because I know people are concerned about Are there any power outages? Have I lost power? If you've lost power, I'm sure you're the first to know. But here's a look at our area right now, the Encore outage map. I wish I could zoom in on this one. I do have it up in front of me where I can zoom in on some of these spots. As far as outages we're seeing, in Odessa, really nothing major. The biggest one is that green dot kind of in West Odessa. That's only about 56 people.
Okay, so
they're
that's not too
investigating
bad.
the cause of that.
Okay.
They say it may be restoration not till 11:30, but again, that's only a few dozen people there. Those ones near downtown Odessa, I mean, off of, what is that, Dixie, it's only like 11 people or so. So Odessa really not seeing any power outages major. The biggest one we're seeing in our area is in Midland. So if you go south of Midland there, out in the county, there's about 251 people without power. They say that is because of adverse weather.
Okay, so it is because of the weather, they're saying.
And Encore says they are repairing it with estimated duration around 10:30 this morning for those 251 people. That's that big dot there on the south side of Midland. Out, what is that by? Looks like South Midkiff and East County Road 160, East County Road 140, sort of down in that area. And then if you go off of Fairgrounds Road in Midland, so there's a green dot there, kind of in central Midland, or I guess East Midland. 83 customers there say that they are investigating, or their Encore's investigating that as well for about 83 people off of Fairgrounds. And that's kind of what we're seeing for those. Big Spring was the another one, but it looks like Big Spring may be finally repaired. No, still about 108 people out there because of vegetation, they say.
Well, overall, sounds like mostly good news because honestly, it could be a lot worse. And really, again, we are expecting another round tonight. So if there is additional ice accumulations on those power lines, we could see more of those power outages in effect later tonight as well. So with that extreme cold overnight tonight as well, nighttime lows into the single digits, sub-zero wind chills, it's going to be imperative you have a way to stay warm if you don't have any access to heat in your home.
Okay, well, let's go to some more of our team coverage. And Ethan, thank you for your forecasting and jumping here on the desk with us. Let's go out to Big Spring first, is where we want to go to Big Spring, checking conditions there. Our sports team is out there, and it does look like they are seeing snow out there. First Alert 7's Jensen Young is live in Big Spring, and he joins us now. Jensen, what are you seeing out there? We lost Jensen there for a moment. I was trying to get Sawyer on the phone as well, so we lost Jensen there for a bit. If Sawyer can hear us, does Sawyer look like she can hear us? Okay. I think, okay, so Sawyer's ready here in Odessa. She wanted to go outside, actually see the conditions for herself. So let's join Sawyer live from the Music City Mall parking lot. Oh, she's got a hat on as well. Sawyer, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, you know, it is rather chilly out here this morning. Definitely had to get bundled up before I walked out the door to, you know, experience these conditions. You know, I'm from Colorado, Minnesota. I love the cold, so I wanted to come out here and experience it for myself. I do want to show you what we're dealing with this morning on these cars. So this is our First Alert 7 station car, and we do have a very solid coating of ice on your car. So if your car was outside overnight, you know, you may be dealing with at least 10, 15, 20 minutes of, you know, just clearing off your car, getting that ice scraped off, and hopefully you have an ice scraper, because if not, you're gonna have a hard time getting anywhere today, even, you know, just to get out of that parking lot, because you need to make sure that your windows are clear, you know, your back window, your mirrors as well, because it is not safe to be driving with those, you know, iced over. But also definitely want to bundle up. As you can see, I have my Putz hat on this morning. I have my gloves. I have my lovely boots that my grandmother got me when I lived in Minnesota. So, and these, you know, have pretty good traction on me this morning. So, and as you can see, it is kind of still snowing out here, even though radar not showing much across the region, but we are still hanging on to some snow this morning here in the Music City Mall parking lot. But once again, today we would like to stress that if you do stay, you know, or please try and stay home, because it is rather cold and icy this morning, and conditions are looking to continue to deteriorate as we head through the day. But from the First Alert 7 Music City Mall parking lot, meteorologist Sawyer McElroy, back to you guys inside.
I do like the hat.
Yes, definitely. I think it's much needed for this time of the day, as temperatures are way below freezing this morning. Hard freeze across Midland, Odessa. We're right around 0 degrees this morning for the wind chill. Actual temperature right around 15. So I would recommend a couple layers this morning if you're going to be out and about.
It was very cold.
Yes, especially for West Texas standards, at least since I've been here. This is the coldest weather we've seen, and of course the most active in terms of winter precipitation. So probably a lot of us not used to it compared to, since last year we haven't seen anything like this.
Right. A few weeks ago we did see some snow, but that was different. It was not this cold, and it went away pretty quickly.
Yeah, we were only like just a light freeze, like low 30s, maybe some upper 20s, but today we are down to 15. I don't think we get out of the 20s this afternoon. And so it's going to be cold all day.
Well, and even the next few days, I mean, it doesn't look like temperatures are going to be better.
I was doing the math the other day, and once we start going below freezing, which was yesterday, right at the afternoon, evening time frame, I don't think we get out of freezing till about 12 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. So that's like 90-hour stretch below freezing, and not just right below 32. It's going to be a hard freeze, well below freezing, teen single-digit temperatures, sub-zero wind chills. So it's going to be a long period of time to stay indoors at this time.
Okay, well, let's try to go back to our crew in Big Spring. If they are ready, we'll go live back out to our crew in Big Spring. Jensen Young and Wyatt Nunn, the sports guys, keeping an eye on conditions there. And it looks very cold, Jensen.
Yes, Jacob, it definitely is. This is a bit of a sports team tradition here for First Alert 7 out here in Big Spring in the freezing weather. As you can see, a little bit more snow coming down at the moment and plenty of snow here on the ground. I'm going to take a look I'm going to show you what it looks like for our car over here. We did put up our windshield wipers so that hopefully that is not an issue for us. But if we were to hop in our car right now, which is not suggested by any stretch, I do not recommend that right now, but if we were to hop in our car right now, as you can see, ice all over the windshield and everything all over the car. The windows are frozen over as well, so it would take a long time for it to de-thaw out. And it's not just a thin layer here, it's fully iced over, so you would need a scraper, you would need to give it a lot of time to defrost as is, but as I said, it is not recommended to be out on the roads right now. You can see the interstate behind us. Every once in a while, a car will go. Most of the time, they are trucks. So it is people who need to be driving. So don't be driving on these icy roads unless you absolutely need to. It is definitely not suggested. As far as what is on the ground right now, we are seeing some snow still coming down, like I was saying, but still just a thin layer, but a lot more than it was last night. Last night was not really enough to pick up. Let me see if there is enough to pick up at this point. Yeah, a little bit here can come in my hand, but it's very little to be able to pick up. It's really just a good layer of ice here at the moment. But I want to take you kind of around a little bit more of the parking lot as we see. Really, it's covered most of the ground at this point in terms of what is available to see with all of this snow, all of this ice and everything. A lot of these other cars have their windshield wipers up as well. Actually, a gentleman took his truck out earlier this morning, and took a long time for his car to defrost. Now there's a tarp over the windshield, so he won't have to do that next time. But it is not suggested to be going out on the roads. He's the only one that I've seen leave this morning since 6 o'clock this morning. So no one is really taking much of a risk, but except for the few people on the interstate, we can see some trucks coming down the interstate at the moment right now. And that's about all the traffic that we do have here in Big Spring. Very cold temperatures, as you were saying, Ethan. I think that we might have a feels like temperature over zero at the moment, but if it is over zero, it might be about a 1 or a 2. So for someone like me from Florida, this is definitely different for me. And if you have not looked outside yet or been outside yet, here you go. It is cold, and I do not recommend being outside. I would like to stay inside if possible. And in fact, there's hot breakfast inside the hotel. So I'm going to go ahead and get some more of that right now. Jacob and Ethan, I'm going to toss back to you guys in Big Spring for First Alert 7. I'm Jensen Young.
All right, Jensen, thank you very much. It looks extra cold, I think, because the camera shot's a little blue.
It
out
does
there
look like
as the light
that.
has changed.
Someone was saying in my ears, looks like they're in the Arctic.
It does. It had definite March of the Penguins vibes out there in Big Spring. But we do appreciate their coverage. And we sent our crews out last night. They went and stayed in hotels overnight. Sent them about noon that they drove out to Big Spring and Andrews and these places they could be in place before things really got bad.
Yeah, and I think that was the smart move to do because they're out there being able to give you guys the live coverage that you need all around West Texas, and they're staying safe at the same time.
Absolutely. And of course, we encourage you to stay inside this weekend. We know that can get kind of old. First Alert 7's Lauren Munt is at the Museum of the Southwest with how you can have some cabin fever fun.
All right, the museum is closed this weekend like most other places due to these frigid temperatures, but I did talk to them about an activity that you can do inside while also staying warm. Take a look.
Hi, so we're going to show you how to make a survival of the slowest obstacle course using things that you can find at home.
For this project, you will need an empty cereal box or any cardboard structure, a rock or a small heavy object, tape, glue, and any craft materials that you can find around the house.
Anything you can be creative with. It's all about engineering and creativity.
Now, there are no rules. Just use whatever you can find to create a really cool maze.
Doesn't have to be fancy, just something quick, easy, so it flattens it out just like this. I really love this activity for being inside because it really kind of gives you the opportunity to really look around, kind of get to know your surroundings and see what you can make when you really don't have anything to make stuff. Next, what we're going to do is you want to kind of start building it, just like we have this example here. You take different sorts of paper. You can use like toilet paper, paper towel rolls, some tape, some yarn.
And basically then, you just start placing obstructions anywhere on the cardboard that you want.
So I'm going to start with building a wall.
Okay.
To put our obstacle course in.
Gotcha. I'm going to start here making just a start line.
Now, this should keep kids busy for a while, but we don't have that kind of time. So let's make some TV magic.
So what we've gone ahead and done is we've added a little barrier here, added a little ramp here, just to kind of, add some more zhuzh to it, make it look nice.
Of course, next you need a friend to attempt your new obstacle course.
So this is JJ. He is to represent our sloth that we have here at the museum, and he is going to go through our obstacle course here. So you'll stick him through, and when you pull it along, you'll pull it along the different areas.
This activity is inspired by the museum's Survival of the Slowest exhibit.
We really wanted to talk about how things move very slow, so we built an obstacle course where you're purposely making your little creature move slowly through the obstacle course.
Now, that little creature isn't the only thing moving slow this weekend.
It's really important that children remember, not everything is super fast-paced. It's okay to go slow. Sometimes slow is best.
So this weekend, slow down, stay safe, and stay inside. Reporting at the Museum of the Southwest, I'm Lauren Munt, First Alert 7 News.
And so like Lauren said there, the Museum of the Southwest had to delay their Survival of the Slowest exhibit, the sloth. We were all excited about that one. But that has been rescheduled to next Tuesday, so you can go there to the museum and check out the sloth. All right, well, let's talk about closures to Easy Rider now. So this is the bus service, public transportation here in Midland and Odessa. And Easy Rider says they are closed today due to that winter storm. That makes sense. We're telling everybody to stay off the road. That includes buses. And for the safety of the drivers and customers, they will be closed all day today. We're thinking tomorrow as well. We're going to check back on Monday with them, so I'm assuming that means tomorrow as well.
I mean, I think that would be smart, again, considering even though we're going to stop seeing precip by the beginning part of Sunday, the roads will still be slick, it'll be unsafe. Again, that's probably for the best going throughout most of the weekend.
All right, and we want people to have places they can go to stay warm. Ector County has set up a warming shelter or center at the Ector County Coliseum in Barn A. That shelter has food, charging stations, and overnight accommodations. They opened up around 6 p.m. yesterday, so people could stay there overnight and avoid that freezing cold. In the city of Odessa, they have warming centers at the Salvation Army location on East 11th Street, Jesus House at East 6th Street, and in Midland, we'll show you some warming centers there as well. They've got locations at Breaking Bread Kitchen, Salvation Army, Midland Soup Kitchen, the Downtown and Centennial Libraries. You can also see True Light Church was added there. They kind of teamed up with Breaking Bread to open a 24/7 shelter, which again, that's the big one because that's when it's the coldest.
Exactly. That's very important, especially during the nighttime.
Salvation Army also going to stay open 24/7 all the way until Wednesday.
Great. Fantastic, because that'll be much needed across the entire weekend, at least in the beginning part of next week.
Okay, if you want to find any information about these warming shelters, you can find it all on firstalert7.com. We just showed you conditions there in Big Spring where Jensen did look quite cold and it's quite snowy. Here's some warming shelters for you if you're out in Big Spring. You can go to Salvation Army on West 5th Street, the YMCA on Owens, or Las Cazuelas on South Gregg Street. and Big Spring, the city there, also let us know about some closures that they've had to do because of weather conditions. So the landfill is closed because of the freezing temperatures, and it made, muddy conditions, icy conditions, not good for driving at all. So the landfill is closed until things get better. Comanche Trail Golf Course also closed today and tomorrow. They said it'll also be closed on Monday for what was already regularly scheduled maintenance. Ector County Sheriff Mike Griffiths and Ector County Judge Dustin Fawcett issued a public service announcement a few days ago to prepare for this winter weather. They talked about the warming shelter, but also what you can do if you need a ride.
If anybody needs to get warm, their power goes out or whatever, please call us, 335-3535, 432-335-3535. We will come pick you up and we will take you to a place warm. We would rather help you that way than later. We want you to stay off the roadways. The roads are going to be horrible. Unless there is absolutely an emergency, do not get out of your house. We're going to have plenty to do without having to deal with wrecks and all that kind of stuff. So please stay home, stay warm, and if you need us, please call us.
So again, if you lose power or need a ride, call 335-3535, and they can drive you to where you need to go or there to that warming center at the Coliseum. Odessa College is closed this weekend because of the winter weather. The Sports Center and Learning Resources Center both shut down today and tomorrow. They also have all their extension campuses out in Andrews, Bonahans, and Pecos all closed. There will be no classes, no evening events, all weekend events, all shut down. The downtown green space here in Odessa shut down as well. Here's some good news. I think this is a great idea. Great Western Dining will be delivering meals to on-campus residents.
Oh yeah, that's very important, especially if you don't have access, you don't have a way to go and get food during this time. It's perfect.
So those kids, in their dorms or apartments can still get food there from OC. And online tutoring, because it is all online, is still available. We do want to remind you about Tom's Coats. We are collecting coats and jackets this winter to help keep West Texans warm. You can drop those off at the Frost Bank locations in Midland and Odessa. You can take them to Odessa College, the Llewellyn Garcia Pipkin Funeral Home in Midland, or here at the First Alert 7 studios. However, do not do this weekend.
Exactly. It's not the best time. I would recommend just staying home, keeping yourself warm right now. Stay outside, or stay inside, I should say, where it's warm, and especially during the nighttime.
Yeah, Tom's Coats does run through January 31st, so you've got a whole nother week here where you can come and donate those coats that will all go to the Salvation Army and help those in need. And here's some good news, or at least a light story, kind of among all this doom and gloom. A local legend is all set for the cold weather. This is the 11-foot-tall roadrunner Paisano Pete down in Fort Stockton. He's been welcoming travelers there since 1980. Head of the storm, a woman named Josie knit him a beanie. That is a real beanie that she knit all herself. Made a matching one for herself as well, so they look like a great couple there. Fort Stockton is asking everyone follow Paisano Pete's example and stay warm this weekend.
I don't know what the history is behind Paisano Pete in Fort Stockton.
Like I said, he's been there since 1980. He's there at the corner of a major intersection, and he's just a landmark.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, we will be cutting back into programming on Channel 7 here in just 30 seconds or so. We do appreciate you watching here on our live streams on Facebook, on our app, and on the First Alert 7 website, firstalert7.com. All great. Your TV, or because it's just maybe more convenient to pull out your phone and watch on Facebook or the app. All right. So 15 seconds. We'll be back on TV and continuing our live coverage here on our digital platforms.